Hey guys, I am Zach, and it is day 7 of BookTube-A-Thon. So, do you like the hat? Does the hat work for me? I don't know. Anyway, so today's challenge is from our fearless leader, Ariel Bisset, and it is the storybook challenge, where you're supposed to talk about a story that relates to reading or something like that. And I'm gonna just forewarn you, I kind of tend to mix a lot of stories together into a larger story, so if that is not for you, you can leave. But this is the story about how I started to get back into reading again through Harry Potter, of course, and its aftermath. So, a little bit of background. When I went to kindergarten through 8th grade, I went to a private Christian school. I am Christian, but I also consider myself very progressive. And honestly, my denomination of Christianity, I feel like, is fairly progressive. Anyway, but there are some, outliers, which you'll see in just a minute. But, so one day we had a substitute teacher, and our class sizes were super small. In each classroom, I think there were 2 classes, so 7th and 8th graders and 5th and 6th graders and so on down the line. Kindergarten usually had its own classroom, but yeah, so there weren't that many kids per classroom, 15 to 20. And so when we had substitutes during times between lessons, the substitutes would kind of chat and talk with us. And so I don't know what we were talking about or what brought it up, but the substitute that day, a pastor, said that he had recently read Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire before the movie came out. And he was talking about the scene where Mad-Eye Moody turns Draco into a ferret or a weasel or something. I think it's a weasel. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that sounds hilarious. I love the first 3 Harry Potter movies. I kind of want to read the 4th book. So I get home, and we had, at that time, all of the Harry Potter books. I believe only the first 5 were out at that point. But the thing is that, they didn't belong to, any one person. They were for the house. Yet, I think I'm literally the only one in this house that has read all of the Harry Potter books. Anyway, the 4th book terrified me. It was huge, and for somebody that didn't read that much back then, that was a big deal. So I talked to my mom about it, and she was like, oh, they have these things called books on tape. And yes, before Audible, before digital library lending services, before audiobook apps, we had to listen to our audiobooks on either CD or cassette tape. Like this video if you remember what a cassette tape is. So I listened to all of Harry Potter 4 on CDs and really, really enjoyed it. And here's the order in which I read the Harry Potter books. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7. I don't count Cursed Child. That is revisionist fanfiction bullshit. And I don't care if J.K. Rowling says it's canon. It's not canon. Anyway, I'm not going to get into a big thing about that. So fast forward to later that year, after Harry Potter 6 came out, and my brother's friend would come over and borrow our copy of Harry Potter 6 to read it while he was over here. So I was very, very far behind him because he was always over here. One time he even used a ketchup packet as a bookmark, and that nearly killed me. And at this point, I was reading the book. Anyway, so one night, he wakes me up to tell me the giant, big spoiler at the end of Harry Potter 6. I don't want to personally say what it is because I've had very bad experiences with this spoiler, this being only one. But yeah, he purposefully woke me up just to tell me the big and devastating thing that happens at the end of Harry Potter 6. Oh, that bugged me so much. So, fast forward a little bit further down the line, I'm going to Bible camp. At that point in time, I went to Bible camp every summer. It only goes through high school though, so obviously I'm not still going to it. But it's a week, Sunday through Friday, sometime in July, and I bring Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince with me, thinking nothing of it, because again, I was introduced to Harry Potter through a pastor that was actually, I think, my counselor that year. Anyway, so I had a cabin mate who saw that I was reading Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and I used to go to school with him, and I knew that his parents didn't want him reading Harry Potter at all. Like, they forbade him and his sister from doing it. His sister was sad about that. He drank the Kool-Aid like crazy. So he got really upset that I brought Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince to Bible camp and started going like on a huge tirade. It's about magic and devil worship and all, he starts like ranting and raving and eventually he ends with, if you don't put that away, I'm gonna tell on you. And I have anxiety, so I don't know how I had the courage to say this, but I just turned to him and I'm like, it's fiction, dude. Calm down. I'm not going to start waving a stick around pretending like I have magic. Okay? It's a book. Calm down. Ironically, I think if somebody had said that to me, if I didn't know what happened at the end of that book, and somebody said it's just a book, calm down, I probably would have, I wouldn't have punched them in their face, because again, anxiety. But, anyway, so he kind of leaves in a huff, and about 5 to 10 minutes later, he comes back, and shortly after that, the head pastor, counselor, whatever, for the camp comes in and goes, so I hear you're reading Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and I kind of like look over to Kool-Aid drinking Christian boy who's kind of smirking, and I go, well, yeah, there was nothing in the rules that says I couldn't bring it. He's like, oh yeah, no, I know that. Can I read it when you're done? And so I'm about to laugh. Cabin mate guy, his jaw is on the floor. He looks pissed. And so I turn to the pastor and I'm like, I'm not going to finish it by the end of the week. I'm sorry. He's like, oh, that's fine. Thought I'd try. So the last part of this story takes place probably a couple of days after that, still at Bible camp. I'm sitting and I'm reading, and this girl kind of saddles up to me and goes, oh my god, you have Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince? How are you liking it so far? And so I'm talking to her about how I'm liking it, and I bring up the part about my brother's friend spoiling it for me. And she's like, oh, what happens? I swear, you can tell me, I won't get mad. And so I tell her, thinking nothing of it, right? There's nobody around that can overhear us. I felt confident that, telling her wouldn't have been a bad thing. Fast forward to the next day when a girl comes up to me that I think I'd only talked to like once or twice and goes, how could you tell, and I honestly don't remember what the other girl's name is, what happens at the end of Harry Potter 6? Don't you know she tells everybody everything? So I inadvertently spoiled the ending of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince for half of my Bible camp, and most people were pissed at me and not the girl that went blabbing. So yeah, that's a funny story. Anyway, I hope you liked this story. It's one of my favorites to tell. I just think it was just hysterical. I hope you guys had an awesome BookTube-A-Thon. How many challenges did you complete? How many books did you read? I finished my TBR and finished all the challenges, and I am currently about to start a fairly short book, and then I have one more book that I'm hoping to read after that. All of which, by the way, have people on the cover, so I'm like totally winning at that challenge. Anyway, I hope you guys had an amazing day, or have an amazing day since this is going up kind of early. And I will see you tomorrow for my BookTube-A-Thon wrap-up. Happy reading. Bye. Hey guys, I am Zach, and it is day 7 of BookTube-A-Thon. Wait, 7? Is that better? Is that better?